into the ring from not the red corner, wearing neutral colours of no party politics, saviour of the beleaguered ratepayer, the underdog written off by mainstream media, the David versus Goliath, the fighter who stands up for zero rates increase with a back to basics knockout punch, nemesis of the deep state, the beating heart of the city, the steel jaw deflecting detractors, the independent hope for the downtrodden ratepayer. Yes, it's our very own, the real deal, your future Mayoral champion, Wayward Chung.
Thanks everyone, it's really so great to see you here. There's so many of you. Thanks for coming out on this horrible cold night. Now, you would have recognised this music. It's taken from Rocky's first film. Now, you know what happened to Rocky. He went up against all odds. He was the underdog. Now, he went into the fight, but he wouldn't give up. Sadly, in that first movie, he didn't win, but this is where the difference between him and we are. We will win. Now, if you follow the mainstream media, you'll see that they're saying that it's a given that Andrew Little will win, that he's got that experience in Parliament, he's worked as minister, been in charge of the opposition, done all those things, and so therefore the job is his for losing. But I don't agree with that at all. I don't believe that what he's done in Parliament actually will help him to run the city. I don't think he even understands what the issues are in the city, and even more so, how he's actually going to fix them. On News Talk ZB just recently, Nick Mills said that, he said those exact words. The media believes that the path is actually clear for Andrew Little to come in now that Tory Parnell has sat down as not running. I don't believe that for a moment. The team I'm working with and I may very well be the underdogs, but unlike Rocky, as I said, we're going to win. There's another reason why this theme is so poignant. The late and great Bob Jones used the same theme when he set up the New Zealand Party. So this is what he did, and when he came into government, when he came in to disrupt the government, to get a change in government, he did it with this theme and with his tenacity. So Bob passed away at the beginning of May. He was a great New Zealander, a great supporter. I had lots of great engagement and exchange of stories with him. He had a very, very strong interest in local politics as well as central government. So, and of course, who can forget his little campaign for getting Carmen as the mayor. So, very appropriate that we pay tribute to him tonight. So this year, we have an election in 4 months' time. I guess that everyone always says that this election is the most important one ever. It's no different every time that there's an election, but I really do believe that this election really, really is important. If we look at what's happened in the council for the last 10 years, we've been heading down the same direction. We really are heading into the abyss. When I look at the amount of money that we spend and what we get from it, I'm shocked each time. You know, we're paying between 1.4 and $2 million in interest in supporting the money that we borrow. Every week, every single week, we pay that sort of money. You know, 5 years ago, we only owed 400 million, but we're approaching $2 billion now. We just keep borrowing. It's just a tax and spend. You know, council and councillors view us ratepayers as just being an ATM. There's no slowing down, and I'll give you some examples of that shortly. Our city can continue along the same lines that it has been for the last 10 years. Excessive spending and borrowing, implementing ideology projects, and the result of which has been detrimental to the city's economy. You just go down, look at what the city's like now. When I come into work, I catch the bus in every day, and when I have time, I catch the bus. I don't get off the bus at Lamb where I can walk across to the council building, but I'll catch it down to Willow Street or to Manor Street, then I'll get off there and walk back through the city. And I talk to the people who are on the streets end, you know, the people who are sleeping in doorways. I ask them, why are they there? You know, what is wrong with the city that we have all these people up there now? We never had them when I was growing up, not one single one. So why have we got this problem now? And why are we doing anything about it? We're talking about it a lot. We chucked in, I think, $9 million into the budget for actually cleaning this up. And then we just recently increased that to $40 million. But will it solve the problem? I don't think so. We've got groups that are out there running food distribution networks, running food kitchens, helping these people, helping feed these people, but they're getting no acknowledgement at all. So, all credit to these people. One of these people is sitting over here in Manchester, went down to his distribution food network and his food bank over the weekend. There are people like Manchester doing all the work. Thank you, Manchester. As the saying goes, you know, madness is doing the same thing over and over again and then expecting a change. Well, we continue doing the same thing and still expecting that change, but it's not going to come. So, a vote for Labour Party's Andrew Little will be a vote for the same policies as the current council. Increased costs and an ever-increasing and expanding bureaucracy. This was actually said, when Tory announced that she wasn't going to run, she said she's quite happy to hand over the reins to Andrew because their policies are the same, and their policies are the same. So what's going to change? What's he going to do? I went to his launch a couple of weeks ago, and he had all the things up there that he wants to change. And so, there are things like the Tory Event Centre, Begonia House, all the things that I've been standing for. And so I asked him, I said, well, we have a lot of things in common. We have more in common than we probably have differences. And he said, so we should, because that's where I got the information from. So a vote for Andrew Little will be a vote for more cycle lanes, carving up the city streets to the detriment of local businesses and against the will of the people. You know, I love talking to people. I love getting out there, talking to everybody, as many people as I can. I run 3 constituent meetings a month, and I talk to different people there. But also, I talk to people on the streets. When this plan about Courtney Place came up, I walked along Courtney Place and talked to the businesses along there. And then I had another meeting with Retail NZ, where we talked to even more retailers. And all of them said they don't want this new plan to come out in Courtney Place. Every single one of them. So I said, well, and they'll ask me, who actually wants this? And I can only think of one person who wants it, Tory. So, you know, we shouldn't be looking at ideology projects. We should be doing what's important to Wellington. We should be focusing on the core business that council has, not doing all these other projects. Property owners will continue to stare down the barrel of double-digit increases if we don't make a change, eventually making the city unaffordable for many people. Now again, I've had many meetings in Wadestown. I've talked to the people there. The people in Wadestown, unfortunately, they're capital rich but cash poor. And so they're finding that the rates are going up significantly. Our rates have they've doubled in the last 5 years. They're going to double again in the next 5 years. And so they're saying that we're being moved out of our homes. We can't afford to stay there anymore. And this is the same throughout the city. Andrew Little decries the overspending by the council that is majority controlled by Labour and Green parties. But in reality, what's he actually going to do about it? We don't know. Andrew Little's plan for democracy is to undertake community impact statements for decisions. What on earth are community impact statements? It's going out to more expensive consultants, paying them a lot more money to actually come in and tell them what he already knows. What do they say about consultants? That, you know, it's someone that you actually give you a watch to tell you the time, and then they keep the watch. And so it's actually the same in council. They give you manipulated research that saw the council install a network of cycle lanes. We get told from officers at council that we've now got 4,000 people riding into town on cycle lanes. Well, I don't know where these 4,000 people are, but as I've mentioned, I come in the bus every day, I go past the cycle counter outside Spotlight on the Hut Road, and I only ever see 300 to 400 when I'm coming in. When I'm going back home again, it's about 600 or 700. So we're in the 4,000. You know, maybe it's coming from the eastern suburbs, maybe it's coming from somewhere else, but I don't know where they are, and I can't understand where they get their numbers from. So, when in Thornakey, you look at how many people wanted these changes in Thornakey. How many people actually voted against it? We had a meeting, we were listening to submissions that in the morning at council when the bulldozers had already started in Thornakey. So our council officers, they have to come out and do consultation. They have to take submissions. But here we were listening to submissions about this when they had already started the work. So how much did they actually listen to us? Not very much. Leadership will be contracted out to highly paid policy analysts. And so again, we're depending on these policy analysts to come and tell us how we should be doing things. If elected mayor, Andrew will preside over a continuation of similar policies espoused by the current mayor. The same policies that have kept the city in a continual debt spiral. If you look at how much we owe, and I've talked a little bit about what we owe, it's approaching $2 billion now, up from $400 million. $2 billion. And we have to continue paying for that. The next generation will have to pay for that. The election will be a decision between tax and spend policies of the party political candidates versus common sense financial management that we bring. I'll introduce you to some of the members of our team, of the NPM Together. We have some very, very good financial brains here. I've been getting lots of numbers from them, getting shocked every time they tell me how much we're going to be spending, and we will actually stop this. We can understand where the money is going, and we will stop this. A vote for me will be a vote to bring council spending under control, to relieve the financial burden our ratepayers are suffering under. Now, I heard a little bit about what Peter was talking about. Yes, we only have one employee in the council. We only employ the CEO. But I've started talking to him. I started talking before he actually came over here, just to get an idea of where he's coming from. And in fact, I'll go back and I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to talk about our interviews with the candidates, but there were 113 applicants for the position of Chief Executive. They got that down to a shortlist of 15, and then we interviewed 7 of them. We asked them all the same questions, and so we asked Matt Prosser the question: if you're successful in this role as CEO, what do you think your job is? And so he said, my job is to follow the orders from councils. So to look at what you want, you make the decisions, you tell me what you want me to do, and I'll go and do it. Every other candidate said, oh, I'm going to actually make these changes, I'm going to make Wellington a tourist attractive city, I'm going to make Wellington a more sort of transport-friendly city, I'm going to do all these other different things. But only Matt said that his job was actually to follow what council asked him to do. So I think that he's the right man for the job, and so I'll continue having discussions with him. I had half a day with him in the Information Ward. I had half a day with him, and the thing I like about spending time with going around with these people is that they're a captive audience in my car because he could hardly get out and run away. So we talked about some of the issues that are affecting Wellington, what we actually need to do, my thoughts on it. I showed him the things that I took him to the waste down, showed him the slips down there, I took him to Karori, showed him the event centre, and so I think he's got a better idea of what the issues are and what our problems are. So I'm very optimistic that even though he's our sole employee, then he will actually be quite different from his predecessor. So I'll talk a little bit about our group, Independent Together. So as well as the Mayoralty, I'm running together with a great team of people. All these people, they're